What's up with it, Raider Nation? It's your boy, Raider Honcho, and I'm back with a brand new video for you. Alright guys, let's get right into it. We already know that the 2022 NFL Draft is just a few weeks away, and everybody's starting to get ramped up on their mock drafts and on their predictions and all this other stuff going on. And when it comes to the Raiders, we know that we don't have a first round pick or a second round pick. So our first pick as it stands right now is going to be 86. So I am going to start my series, Player Profiles, where I'm going to give you the players that I think the Raiders should be interested in, the players that I've been hearing the Raiders are interested in, as far as who they're bringing in for meetings, who they're rumored to be looking at the 86th pick, or even maybe trading back into the first two rounds and trying to snag over there. So, in my first installment, you know I'm a defensive coordinator on a high school level. You know that I've played defensive back on a high school and college level. So it's only right that I make sure that my priorities are straight, and I'm going to be looking at the defensive side of the ball mostly. So, for my first player profile, I am going to select defensive back Tariq Woolen from UTSA. And you know this guy's a monster, man. We saw everything he did at the Combine, and I think that was the first time a lot of you guys might have heard of him. I've already been hearing about him a little while before that, just because I look at DBs, and you know me. You know me, I'm a press corner, so I love tall, rangy cornerbacks, defensive backs, so this fell right into my wheelhouse, right? So when you talk about Tariq Woolen being 6'4", 205 pounds, I mean, he ran a 4.26, yo. He ran a 4.26. Point blank, period, that's flying. That's probably one of the top 5 times ever in the NFL draft, but does it mean he can play cornerback in the NFL? Now, I've been hearing a lot of people say he's going in this round and that round. Let me just break down his profile real quick, and some of the strengths he has is that, I mean, elite athletic talent is not something that you find in your everyday life when it comes to defensive backs, right? You have defensive backs, there's certain things you have to be able to do. You have to be able to flip the hips. You have to be able to go smooth in transitions. A vertical jump is always good. Just being able to get in and out of your back pedal smoothly is always going to be a plus. And the super athletic people seem to do that with ease. So when you talk about Tariq Woolen, you're talking about somebody who's athletically elite and inclined in that box right there. So he checks that off for me. Then you talk about his length and his speed. Well, when you talk about a 6'4" corner, and you talk about 4.26, it's kind of hard to beat that guy. It's going to be hard to beat that guy because he's perfect for press. He's also going to be perfect for trail technique. And if you don't know what trail technique is, it's kind of when the corners play behind the receiver and trail him. But when you're 6'4" and you got that type of length and you got that type of range, you're never really out of position. When you got the 4.26 speed, you always have recovery ability if you do get beat off the line. But to me, if you're 6'4", you're probably getting a hand on somebody and you're able to stay in their pocket. You're able to stay hip to hip because you do have that elite speed, right? So when you talk about the elite speed, the only real knocks that I have on Tariq Woolen is that he's only a 2-year cornerback, because if I'm not mistaken, he played wide receiver his first 2 years in college. So when you talk about the knocks on him, it's going to be that he's super raw. But now it's like, I'm okay with that because I think the Raiders are in position to kind of take a developmental guy in the draft, especially at 86, because it's like we're pretty set at cornerback right now, right? I know a lot of you guys think we need Deion Sanders, but we're pretty set at cornerback right now. I'm okay with what we're at, but I wouldn't mind them taking a guy like Woolen because he is going to be a developmental piece. Might not be a day one starter, but there's certain things he has you can't teach, and the stuff that he doesn't have yet you can teach. So he's just a little inexperienced, which means he's going to lack the instincts of a true corner who's done it for a long time. And it's going to be tough for him to track the ball. It's going to be tough for him to know his depths in zone just because he's inexperienced at the position. So you can take it as a positive or a negative. A positive will be, yeah, he's this good and he doesn't even know how to play corner yet. A negative is, well, if you take him in the first round and he doesn't know how to play corner, you kind of wasted a pick, right? I think his long legs make it hard for him in and out of transitions at time, but he makes up with that with his athleticism, because when you talk about when I watched him at the Combine, even though he ran a 4.26, he didn't get in and out of his breaks fast, even though he's smooth in and out of transitions. Like, he's smooth, but it wasn't fast. It wasn't fast because it's probably not second nature for him yet, but it will be the more and more he plays the position, the more and more he works with the coaches on the high level. So I'm not too worried about that. The only thing that I am worried about, and I shouldn't say worried about, I guess it's a respectable knock on him, will be the fact that he doesn't like contact too much. He kind of shies away from taking big hits, and he's not going to tackle, right? He's not the guy who's going to come up and try to flatline somebody, right? But we all know me. I don't need my cornerbacks to tackle. That's what my linemen are for. That's what my linebackers are for. That's what my safeties are for, to come up and play the alley. I'm looking for somebody to just set the edge, or somebody who can just cover. Put him on the island and can cover, and I like Tariq Woolen for that. Another knock with him, obviously tracking the ball is going to be tough for him. And the boy really doesn't catch that well, which is probably why he went from wide receiver to cornerback. They always say that cornerbacks are really good receivers that can't catch, so I think that kind of fits the mold for him. So those are just a few knocks with him. I think that Tariq Woolen is an excellent developmental piece. I don't think he's a day one starter, but I think he's somebody you bring in the building, put him around good coaches, around good players, good leadership, and he learns the game, because 2 years at that position is tough to do. All right, not many positions can you master in 2 years, man. And defensive back is probably one of the hardest ones, because you're playing the fastest people on the field. You have no idea where they're going. So I think that his rawness is a benefit. It's a gift and a curse, right? So I think around the right coaching staff, he'll be great. So for me, at the bottom line, I think that Tariq Woolen is probably going to go somewhere in the middle of the second round, maybe the top of the third round. I'm not sure he's going to be there for the Raiders. But to me, he's not a first-round talent yet. Like, he's not a first-round guy. Doesn't mean he can't be a starter in the NFL. I think right now he's probably a backup. He's a developmental piece. I see him going in the middle of the second round, top of the third round. So it's possible that he's here at 86 for the Raiders, and I would not be mad if the Raiders selected him if he's one of the best players on the board. So that's my player profile on Tariq Woolen, cornerback from UTSA. And I think he's a good one, man. So if you like this video, like the video. If you like this type of content, might want to subscribe to the channel. Hit me up on Instagram and Twitter. Both are at Raider Honcho. And until the next time, as always, Raider Honcho out.